Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Rebecca Grotte joining us here now. Excited to have her here from beautiful Houston, Texas. Avondale Design Studio is the name of her company and the website as well. That's Avondale Design Studio. And we're talking all about custom, residential, and light interior design spaces today. Welcome, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi. Sorry, I'm looking. I'm having a bit of a issue with my computer for a second.
I see you fine. I hear you fine. Can you still see
Okay.
me?
I don't see you, so
Well, I'm telling you, you are there and I see you. So it's
okay.
recording
Oh,
on
okay. I
my
see you
end.
again.
Hi, there we
Sorry.
go. That's okay.
All
So,
right.
Rebecca, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
My name is Rebecca Grotte. I'm owner of Avondale Design Studio here in Houston, Texas.
And now, as a designer, let's get to know you. Before we talk about more about the company, I want to find out more about you. I heard you were a military wife. Talk about balancing that and being a mom and all. So, just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Yes, that's correct. I am a military wife. My husband, Daniel Grotte, he's commands at the 147th Attack Wing here in Houston at Ellington Air Force Base.
Hmm.
So that's my husband, and I have two children. One son, my eldest son is Elijah, and my younger son is Nicholas.
How old are they?
Elijah is 18, so he's
Hmm.
graduating this year, and Nicholas is 12.
Wonderful. I have a 6 and 8-year-old, two little boys myself. A hard thing being a mom, working, being a wife. I get it. Let's talk more about what brought you here. I mean, how did you get involved with this? And also, there's something in regards to chronic disorders that you were going to discuss.
Yes. How did I get involved with the podcast? Is that what you're asking?
Oh, no, I was still
Or
asking you in general. Tell me more about you. As far as I was reading something about Um, you mentioned ADHD, there's some lupus. Is this you or family member?
oh, that's me.
Oh my goodness. Tell me about your health battles.
Okay, so I struggle with lupus. I was diagnosed with lupus a few years ago after I had a pretty severe bone marrow infection back in 2018. It kind of offset a whole bunch of medical problems for me. And so that's something that I personally deal with. And
Mm.
since I had that infection, I've just dealt with a lot of medical issues since then. So, one of them, yes, I do have ADHD. So, but that's something that I've always kind of dealt with my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Just it got catapulted whenever I got sick. Um, it went into high gear because my
Yeah.
body and my brain was kind of like going crazy during that time. So yeah, I deal with some chronic pain problems and stuff like that. So those are just things that have happened to me over the last few years. I haven't always dealt with those things, but
So you're
since
still
2000,
you're still doing amazing things. But you originally studied music education, right? Could you tell me about your college career?
sure. I studied at the University of Houston for music education. I am a classical French horn player. I started learning French horn when I was 12. I played a little bit of piano before that. I guess my parents knew that I would be do something with music whenever I was playing piano by ear, at a young age. And so I still play my French horn. So my horn is my first love as far as like the arts are concerned. And so I went to the University of Houston for 3 years. I didn't actually finish there because it was just a whirlwind. My husband was also a musician, and but he decided he was going to join the military, but we were not married at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he made that decision, it was like, okay, are you going to stay or are we going to go? And it was just a fast time in my life. And so I did study music education first before
Mhm.
I circled back into interior design.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So how do we get into interior design from music to this? Where did you get your knack for doing what you do, and how did you make that transition?
Well, I think it was just over the following years between music school and then moving with my family to the military,
Hmm.
with into military life. So we moved uh, at that time to South Carolina, where my first son was born. Then we moved out to Las Vegas, where my husband got his second assignment as a Air Force Thunderbird crew chief. Um, and so we started traveling, and the more that I saw the world, the more the world kind of opened up for me. And then we circled back to Houston, where he works now. And Houston is my hometown, my home base, and his too. So um, we were just kind of getting everything back together, being back home. So we traveled for 8 years before we came back home. And we had Nicholas in Las Vegas and came home 2 weeks after he was born. So we've been here since then. So that's, and then I went back to design school when Nicholas was a, a baby. So I was studying design in the throes of like motherhood, like trying to get an education in design, but also having a first grader and a newborn.
Oh, uh-huh. A lot of work. So now it was in 2011 you discovered the studio, correct? Could you share a little bit about what Avondale Design Studio is?
Sure. Whenever I was in school at Houston Community College, I had a teacher there, Benjamin Johnston, and was the he was the interior design teacher, and he taught me perspective drawing and drafting sort of skills and all types of architectural history and those things. So he was my teacher, and um, about 2014 came around and he asked me to be his design assistant. So of course I thought it was a great opportunity, so I took it. And at that time, him and Catherine Berardo were partners, and I became their first design assistant. So I was at the end of my being a student, I became design assistant, and then the rest is history, I guess you could say.
Hmm. And here we are, Avondale Design Studio. Let's talk about the work that you do. So you're doing interior design for residential space and commercial space as well?
Yeah, we've done some light commercial projects. Our studio has always been pretty small, so like we taking on a heavy commercial project has not been something that we've done. That doesn't mean that we couldn't do it, I guess, but
Hmm.
mostly focusing on residential interior design. Um, I think because for myself, I like the intimacy of a residential client.
Hmm.
Really trying to get to know someone in their own home is important to me. So
And how does it work? So tell me about the interior design work you're doing. There's conceptual design, budgeting, design development, design implementation. So if someone's interested in remodeling, is it their whole space, a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom? Tell me specifically your specialties and what are some of your favorite things in the house to redesign and remodel?
okay, well, I don't that's kind of a hard question because I like doing all of it.
Everything?
Yeah. So some of the thing, I mean, the actual construction drawing, I love drawing, so that's fundamentally part of what I like to do.
So you're
And
not
then,
using 3D, a lot of people using the 3D image. You actually doing real design sketching by hand?
well, I can sketch by hand. I love to sketch by hand,
Hmm.
but that does take it does take longer, but I can do it, and
Wow.
I can also render by hand with 3D stuff, but I can do the computer versions of those things as well. So I do have the whole that skill set, and then we also do, selecting furniture, rugs, textiles, stones, and then another thing is that I also work in a drapery fabrication workroom. So I now am learning the art of drapery
Mm-hmm.
fabrication. So it's a specialized craft and skill that I've had the privilege to learn. So textiles are really like my wheelhouse. Like I love fabric, and uh, that's where I think I make the most impact on pattern, fabric, textiles, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And on the website, I see so many different, my gosh, beautiful work. I see bathroom, I see kitchen, I see. How does it work to get started? So if someone's interested, do you offer an initial consultation? And then what is the plan? And what do people need to know coming into this?
So yes, I do offer a free consultation because not every designer is fit for every client,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So I do a free consultation, and then the design process itself is very. I start with form and space, like the technical aspects of design first, before I get into like the layering of all of the beautiful things. So the functionality of the space comes first, and then all of the bells and whistles come after that. So that's the way that I approach design. And I work with clients with the contracts. We talk about those things in our consultation about how I work and exactly what services I offer and how much things cost. That's all in my contract.
Got it. And so, from start to finish, so people, what do they need to bring to the table? They need to know their budget, right?
Yes.
Do you also help out with, I know it's interior design, but I don't know if you're also capable, do you do like extensions and that type of adding structures in space?
Well, we can propose ideas, but those sort of
Yeah.
things have to be approved by architects
Okay.
and engineers before. But yes, we can propose ideas for those things. Yes, so that would be included in like a construction drawing proposal, or say we have this great idea, we want to knock a wall out here, we want to build
Mm-hmm.
we want to build some custom millwork in this area or whatever, then we can present that as the idea, and then the architects and
Architect can
engineers have to
make sure structurally
make
they could
sure
do
that
that. Okay.
everything is okay, and that it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, what are the obstacles involved in getting it to work? So yes, we can propose ideas for those things.
Let me ask, when the pandemic came, I mean, how did that affect you and personally and your clients? I mean, you're able to do virtual work, right? And did you shut down for a while? I'm assuming, right? Because no one was able to move and go to people's homes, which must have been difficult, right?
Yeah, it was really difficult. And then on top of that, all of our trade, all of our products we couldn't get. We couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
the shipping was awful. It affected our industry a lot. So what we ended up doing was we did a lot of reupholstery during that time, like using things that people already had. Um, we tried to come up with creative solutions, but you're right, people didn't want us in their houses. Um, it it was hard for everyone.
Mm-hmm. But the good to come out of that was a lot of people were home thinking, hey, I would like a bigger kitchen. We're all hanging out in the kitchen. Maybe we could, right? So a lot of creativity came from it. And I bet you now things are
Yes,
busy. And
yes,
from what I hear, yeah, is that like the newest, latest, and greatest? Like, I feel like I don't even have a dining room. I mean, I have two little kids. So my dining room is a playroom right now. But at
yes.
this point, does anyone even have a dining room? I feel like everyone's doing these kitchens and sitting down, and the kitchen is the area to do the homework, to watch the TV, to hang out. Are you noticing a big expansion with kitchens?
Yes, I mean, so like that was kitchens have always been, I mean, at least for a while, kitchens have been on the biggest portion of remodeling because you get the best bang for your buck when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it gives more, it adds a lot of value to your home. And but the home office became a big thing because everybody was working from
Mm-hmm.
home and they were tired of like staring at their blank wall. So
Yep.
and so yeah, there was some things that were born out of the pandemic that like a lot of people were getting kind of stir crazy and just
Mm-hmm.
ready to, okay, I'm so tired of looking at this. I think everybody was like that. Even I was like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was everybody was just kind of bouncing off the walls, not knowing what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
So
And so there is an increase in people now also doing home offices. Talk about that a little bit. What if people don't have the space? How do you incorporate that into another room?
yeah, we just try to come up with creative solutions to move things that they already have
Mm-hmm.
and in smart ways. Maybe a lot of people like got rid of their guest bedroom because they didn't want to have anybody over anyways. So they turned their guest bedroom into an office,
Yeah.
or, if they had that available space. A lot of people turn their kitchens or those like breakfast areas. We had to turn breakfast areas into offices. Just or oversized rooms, like say you have an oversized formal dining room that you only use half of it, then we were making the other half an office. Or so those were some of the solutions that we came up with if people didn't have
Mm-hmm.
the budget to build another space, you know.
Got it. Well, let's talk about some of your before and afters. Like if you go to the website, remind us again all forms of contact, how we can reach you, Rebecca, before we continue.
Sure. My website is www.avendaledesignstudio.com. My email address is rebecca@avendaledesignstudio.com. We have an Instagram page is at avendaledesignstudio.com and a Facebook page at avendaledesignstudio.com. I mean,
Great.
at Avondale Design Studio. Sorry, those don't have .coms on
That's okay. That's
them.
okay. We get it. So tell me about some of your projects. Explain some of the before and afters. I mean, on the website, there's quite a few from bedrooms to kitchens to living rooms. Share a project or two that, if you don't mind, and the experience with the customer, if you can.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think from our website. We so
Or
that's another
anywhere, a
thing we
project
kind of.
in particular that was amazing for you. Speak about, how, what you did in the process and then, the client's expectations. And by the way, there's some great testimonials as well on the website too.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. So I I've been working with a client um, for the past few years that we did one remodel of her house, and then she's ended up selling that house, and now we're going through like the next house that she's bought. So that's been a really fun project because this particular client loves color and pattern and wallpaper and beautiful stone. She just has great taste. I mean, in my opinion, I love things that are colorful.
Mm-hmm.
um I lean towards a more maximalist approach to design with layering, and that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is for me. Um, so what we did in her first project was we were getting the home ready to sell, and we worked on everything. We remodeled the kitchen. I think so. On the website, you would see a kitchen that's got white cabinets and like a lot of, and then a green island. So that's that project. That was her first kitchen project. The second kitchen project is not up yet. We're still in working on that project right now. So those are some pictures that you may see on our Instagram page that are like pro projects that are still in process. And that's part of the thing too, is that when we are undertaking a project that it takes this long, we're not gonna have final photos until way towards the end, but I like to post pictures of progress because people need to see that like construction is construction. It's not always like fun, and it's dirty. It can be time consuming. It can
Hmm.
be very stressful. And that's really the truth about what design is, is that it's not always like the most fashionable thing while it's happening.
Got
And
it.
it
And
and there's a lot of bumps in the road, and it requires a lot of patience. It's not like snap your fingers and everything's done. So,
normally, like, I
oh,
mean,
okay.
people, you're with you with client from beginning to the end process. How long normally does a renovation or remodel take? I mean, anywhere from months to weeks, years. I mean, it depends what it is, right?
It does depend on what it is. We had a project that is also on the website that's more traditional in style. That was a project that happened after Hurricane Harvey. So we had a huge hurricane um, a few years ago that really wiped out our city pretty bad back in 2000, I think 17 or 18. And that project, because everybody was wiped out, all of our contractors, nobody had, it was just like a dire situation. So everybody's contractors were being used. Nobody had the time or the resources to do things. And so it was really like pulling together and being kind of thrown in on a project that was like an emergency. That's an emergency project. That's not like you're trying to remodel your house. That's like
Hmm.
you just got 3 feet of water in your house, and now you have to redo the whole thing. So that was a quite a challenge, and I still work with those people um, today. So it can be years sometimes. My I Those are usually my favorite people to work with because I get to know them so well. And the longer I get to know them, the better design I can offer them over the time.
Got it.
And
And go ahead.
well, and also coming into someone's home and into their most intimate places, especially during a time of need and emergency, really draws people together to band together to do the best work that we can. I mean, of course, there's always people that are out to scam and stuff, but it was just one of those projects that really made a big difference in my life as a person.
Hmm. And let me ask you, what do you love so much about the work you're doing?
Well, I get to do what I love every day, and I'm I don't really know what else to say about that. Like I love doing this work. I love being immersed in design and art and culture. These are things that I love to do. So I feel like I've been so blessed to be able to have the privilege to do what I love.
Yeah, clearly, and it shows. So we have 2 minutes left in the show. What else did you want to get out to our listeners for today?
Okay, let's see. Well, I think that there's a few things. So I, as a designer, I we kind of went through it. I approach design with a multidisciplinary approach. I have a lot of different things that I draw from de for design, like fine arts, and academia, history, mathematics, science, knowing where we came from, knowing where we're going, um, traveling. And for me, the history of who I am greatly impacts what I do. Um, and that includes my family, the history of my family, and what legacy I want to leave behind for my own children. And then We talked about kind of the design intimacy, like getting to know people on a personal level, building relationships, because design really is about relationships, in my opinion. Um, Getting to know someone so well that they allow me to do work in their home and be a part of their family. And then lastly, I would say design accessibility, making a way to. I would love to make a way for design to be accessible for everybody,
Yeah.
not just people that are wealthy, of across all demographics. Building, again, like building a community, building a sense of belonging for people.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Uh,
thank you. And if we do want to reach out for a free consultation, and by the way, I know you're in the Houston area, but you work virtually with people all over, right?
I can, yes.
So if you see, they can send you picture videos of their room, their space, and I'm assuming, so you would actually go to them to do it, or do you hire subcontractors to do that? If they live in
Well,
like Florida, or they fly you there?
well, if they, I mean, at this point, I still would. It's important for me to be in someone's home, and there's one thing to be able to see it, but to actually like experience and walk through the home is different. And I believe that I need to be inside the home. I I'm not opposed to um, discussing online approaches, but
Hmm.
I do believe that being inside the home is important.
Better. Okay. And
Hmm.
remind us, Rebecca, the website, how we can reach you.
www.avondaledesignstudio.com.
Perfect. And on social media, it's Avondale Design Studio, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well,
That's
thank you so much, guys. If you're interested, reach out to Rebecca. Again, interior design is her specialty. Go to the website, check out some of the work, and also some great testimonials of what clients have to say about working with her. And also, seeing is believing. Look at some of those pictures. Amazing work. Thank you again. Looking forward to the next time we connect. And you have a fantastic day and an even better week, Rebecca. Okay. Good luck with the
all right.
family. Enjoy your day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.